9 a.m. to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Russo?
Yes.
Here. Ostergren?
Here.
Wolfson?
Here.
Milburn?
Here.
Spencer? Here. Approval of the agenda.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Discussion? Roll call? Russo?
Yes.
Ostergren?
Yes.
Wolfson?
Yes.
Milburn?
Yes.
Spencer? Yes. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Contract for housing of Oscoda County inmates, discussion. Anybody have any questions, concerns? I know there's been a lot of back and forth. Yes.
I'm in total support of the sheriff's proposal.
Madam
I have to agree with Mark. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this has kind of been a whirlwind thing to get to this point. I appreciate all the effort everybody's put into it, and I think we should have full board support on this.
I appreciate Rex's efforts in working on this also and getting the rates where they need to be and the term and the ability for us and the other side to be able to look at this agreement further if something comes up that's detrimental to either side. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have the 2025 healthcare plan options up for discussion. Questions that need to be clarified, addressed?
Excuse me.
Thoughts?
As you know, I've looked it all over. I wish we could keep priority health. I really do, but we're in a situation where we can't. That Blue Cross Blue Shield is number 2. I think it's the best plan to go with at this time. We just can't afford to move on with priority health at this point. Thank you.
I agree.
I also agree. It's the second plan, the one over all the way to the right. That's what we're talking about. I think that's the one that Jody recommended also.
Yeah.
Commissioner Wolfson, do you have anything?
Yeah, I had a question on this.
Mhm.
I guess we're calling it plan number 2. Co-insurance minimum, co-insurance member pays 20%. Just exactly what does that mean?
So on all 3 of the proposed plans, there is a co-insurance amount that kicks in. So basically what that means is before, like when you went to your doctor, you would pay a flat copay. Now this would be 20% of the bill, or if it was a priority plan, it would be 30% of the bill. I figured mine, it was $155 and it was like $46 if I was on the 30% and $31 if I was on. And those portions that you pay, that co-insurance portion you pay actually goes towards the out-of-pocket maximum.
So it's office visits are
Yeah.
now 20% of the bill.
Correct, yeah. And that'll all go towards, initially it all goes towards your deductible, which if you choose this plan will be covered fully under the HSA. And then after that, it will come out of that difference between the deductible and the out-of-pocket maximum. The only thing that I do want to caveat, because we did have a couple of questions on this, is all 3 of these plans have a preventative prescription plan. And that includes those things that are related to heart medications, cholesterol medications, depression medications, alcohol and drug issues, There's some kidney medicines on there, a whole bunch of diabetes medicines. I can't remember all of them off the
Is-
top of my head, but,
Is there,
and
a-
that's a straight copay, so that would be whatever the copay is for
is there,
whichever plan.
is there a list of drugs that we can
Yeah.
see at some point?
Let's email you the link.
Good question. Good question, Rex. Thank you.
Okay,
Comment, we have a letter, I think we all of us had, or an email, I should say, from the folks over in court administrator expressing support for the priority health care. Is anybody here from there to talk about that? I guess, well, look at there, look at there.
Danielle, you're talking about your letter.
Yeah. Yeah, I brought it up, in fact. Are we, since this is part of the discussion, is this something that she can come up and talk about on why they want, the rest of us are all supporting right now this.
She doesn't speak on behalf of all. About it. She can speak for district court, but the other courts,
Okay,
can speak on her own. Well, what does my letter say?
District.
Behalf of the.
Good morning.
I'll tell you where we're at right now. All of us are pretty much in favor of the Blue Cross Blue Shield secondary program, so,
And that's okay.
yeah, you got some selling to do, so.
Well, I met with the employees and they discussed, they asked me whatever clarifications that they weren't really quite understanding between the two plans. They discussed at great extent their main concerns. There's a handful of employees that take prescriptions that we're concerned with. It took them a while to get to that prescription. And the thought of them having to start all over again, that gave them some anxiety of having to go through the loops of trying this prescription, that prescription. So the letter was just a representation of what the staff wanted the board to know, what they were willing to do.
So it was a lot of it was a matter of them not understanding everything that was,
No, I think that
I mean,
they,
that's what you said a second ago. They didn't quite understand.
well, so we had a long discussion so that they could be
So
fully
they do
informed.
understand more now.
So they do understand more now, and that was that letter is the result of that conversation.
So their main anxiety was with the fact that they're gonna have to start over with another company and go through.
Correct. And,
Prescription process.
sometimes change is just difficult, right?
Okay.
It's not like there's going to be an uproar or a walkout because you guys are switching prescription plans. They obviously don't have the luxury of walking down here and speaking to all of you and letting you know what their feelings are. And I thought it was prudent that you were aware they were willing to contribute more if you did choose that route. That was it.
It sounded to me like the prescription drug plan was gonna be better with the Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is that true, Jody, or not?
Without seeing the complete formulary, my guess is yes, but I think specific to what district court is worried about is a lot of times you go into a doctor and they start you off with the least expensive or the
Generic.
least, yes. So they step you up until they get to something that fixes. And so the fear is of having to go through that whole step up process again and have whatever symptoms reappear and go through that process. That is where Noelle and I have talked to the representatives from Advantage Benefits, where we have to have Blue Care Network come. One of the conversations I had yesterday, the person actually went through their initial step up with Blue Care Network 5 years ago before we switched to priority. So that information actually is still there, so they're not going to have to work through that process again. So just depending on when they did it. The other thing is if it's a medicine that's already covered, if we can get all the information transferred over from the doctors, that will make it a lot less.
So it's a matter of having to do a little bit more paperwork and it's gonna be a little bit of a hassle, but
It
they
is
should
gonna
be able to
yeah.
be covered and hopefully we're not gonna have a situation where somebody has to go through having a problem before they get stepped up to the next drug. Is that what you're saying?
Or a drug that actually works for them.
Right.
Like when you're talking about, especially like depression, anxiety type medications, there's a wide range and not, it doesn't fit every person. So they may have already tried 3 or 4 different anxiety and depression medications that didn't work for them to finally get to one that does. And then if they have to go back and have to do that process all over, that's what they're worried about.
It can be,
Sure.
right, concerning, I guess. And typically it's a 30-day trial for each one of those prescriptions. So it's not like you just take it for a week and, oh, this isn't working, and so we can go to the next
Sure.
step. It's, you take this for 30 days, okay, it doesn't work. Take this one for 30
Well,
days.
hopefully the process that Jody described, where they're gonna be able to share that information, will eliminate that anxiety. Depression over
Sure.
switching the plans.
But whatever your choice is, I mean, that's obviously,
Yeah, we have to look at the overall
I understand.
expenditures that the county's making.
I understand
Yep.
completely.
Unfortunately.
Questions?
Can we hear from the circuit court, unless she doesn't want to make any comments? I was wondering, since she said that the circuit court doesn't necessarily agree with what they're saying in district.
Not that we don't agree, I just want to make it clear that when administrators.
Okay,
That you understand.
okay,
all
okay.
things.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. That's all the questions I have.
Mark, do you have any questions, concerns?
Okay, so
Anything?
I will take it as a general consensus for that last fully funded HSA Blue Care Network plan. Noel and I will talk tomorrow with our 3 unions, and I can provide information back to you on that as we go. I'm waiting for just a couple tidbits of information to come back from our labor attorney in regards to that contract, and there is a public act that may not be able to come into play under the current contract, but the board could enact under next year's, which is a hard cap 80/20. That you have the ability of doing. This board has always chosen to not pass that on to the employees, but depending on where we go with the unions, you may not have a choice, unfortunately. But I will get you all of that information as soon as the labor attorney provides it to me. So.
Thank you.
Something that we're gonna motion on and vote on today, or?
No,
not till the next meeting?
no.
Okay. As I mentioned the last time, I'm not gonna be at the next meeting.
Yeah, no.
But I want to express my support, as the rest of you expressed, for the second plan that everybody else is in support of. I'm also in support of.
Thank you. Thank you. We do have motions, resolutions. We have one. So whenever you are ready.
To approve the interlocal agreement among County of Oscoda and County of Roscommon for housing of Oscoda County inmates as presented, and authorize Sheriff Ed Stern and Chairperson Darlene Sensor to sign on behalf of Roscommon County.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. I really appreciate all the work that everybody did on this, because there's a lot of behind the scenes recalibrating, I should say, the agreement, so we could come up with everything that the sheriffs needed and that the other county needed. So I just want to express that I appreciate everybody's work on this, and they know who they are. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Ostergren,
Yes.
Wolfson,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Sensor.
Yes. Public comment. Is there any public comment? With no public comment, this meeting is adjourned.
It's a record.